All right, we're going to dive into some women's wellness today, and we are going to really specifically talk about wellness for women that are age 30 to 45. So, welcome to our little hangout today. I'm really excited. I've never done this series like this where I go into specific age groups and different age demographics and really talk about solutions that we can find for each age demographic. So, they did this recently at the doTERRA convention. They kind of broke it all down. And so I was like, you know what? I am going to recreate this for everyone because it was so helpful for me. And as I was watching the presentations from the people on stage, I was like, oh my gosh, like this could be so helpful for so many people. Because one of the biggest questions I get when I start to work with women, primarily women, I do work with some men, but when I start to work with women is, hey, there's so many options. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I don't know where to begin. Right. And that's not just with essential oils. That's not just with doTERRA. That is really with our health in general. We're bombarded, when we go to the health food store, or if we even go to the big box retailers and we go to the supplement area, or if we're perusing Instagram, there are so many companies out there promoting their next great big thing, right? We've got magic coffee, we've got magic pills, we've got magic this, we've got magic that, and we start to get really, really overwhelmed. And here's the reality: when our mind and our body is overwhelmed, it's actually impossible for us to make a decision. Have you guys ever had that happen? Have you ladies ever had that happen where it's just like you have decision fatigue? You're like, there's so many options out there. And before we know it, we've got all of these products in our home that we have double clicked on Amazon or we've clicked on Instagram seeking these next great solutions. And so I know that this is a big concern when women come to me and they're like, hey, but I just need something that's easy, that's quick. I don't want to feel overwhelmed. I need to find something that I don't feel like I'm wasting my money on. You're like, hey, I know my health is a priority for me, but like before I know it, I'm spending $500 to $600 on a bunch of supplements and I don't even know if they're working. And so I decided, you know what, we're going to dive into age specific groups because every single demographic as we age and when we go through different stages of life, our body has different needs and it needs different things. And so this is going to be a quick overview of what women that are 30 to 45 might be seeking in their health. Okay. So before we get started with that, I just want to say welcome everyone. If you've never met me, my name is Katie Glasgow, and I have been teaching thousands of people for the last 13 years how to find natural solutions in their health, right? And so it started with my own health journey. This is some pictures of me. I went back in the archives. It's a little bit of bittersweetness today because my little baby that's in these pictures turned 9 today. And so we've been celebrating him all weekend with grandma and grandpa and just lots of celebrations. But this was him when he was little, and this is me 9 years ago. And I was right in the middle of that 30 to 45 age group demographic that we're going to talk about today. I'm no longer in this age group. I've gone on to the next one that we're going to talk about tomorrow. But this was me. And I had little kids. This is before we had tons of online options to grow our doTERRA business. I was hopping on a flight at least once a month. I was all over the place. I was, teaching classes. This is Theo attached to me in my little baby sling. He was attached to me while I was working, while I was teaching women. And so this was me and I was in the thick of it, right? And so I just wanted to kind of introduce you to where I was at that time period. I was very, very busy, that some of you might be able to relate to this. Also, if many of you might not know my story, depending on how you're tuning into this workshop, but I also had been told in my 20s that I had PCOS. Theo was actually my second rainbow baby. If you're not quite sure what a rainbow baby is a baby that is conceived and born into this beautiful earth after you have experienced pregnancy loss. And so he was my second rainbow baby in this time period. So supporting my hormones as I was trying to expand in a family was really, really a big deal for me at this time. So if you're here and you're like, hey, my hormones are a little wackadoodle and I want to start a family, maybe that's you. Maybe you're here because you've already started the family and you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed. You're feeling like a Gumby, like pulled in all these different directions because you are focused in on your work and your career, but you've got little kids and you're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do it all? Maybe you are just dialed in and focused in on your career and you're like, hey, family is like the least of my radar, but I want solutions to really support my body. So what I would love for you all to do right now before we even get started is to hop into the chat if you're on live and just say, hey, hello, what are you here to learn? What are you solving for at this current moment in our health? That's one of my biggest questions that I ask, one of my very first questions when I sit with somebody and we deep dive into their health. I ask myself, what am I solving for right now? Right? What are you solving for in this stage of your life? And ask yourself this question often, right? We're going to try to find, so we're going to look at some solutions today, but we might not get to everybody's solutions, but if you put it in the chat, I can make sure I really dial in and really focus in on that. Also, there's going to be so many of you that are watching this as a recording later, which is totally awesome because if you are in the age group of 30 to 45, you are busy and you are on the go. So most likely you are going to be watching this. Maybe you're going to try to multitask while you're out on a walk, you're driving in the car, you're waiting at your kids for soccer. You're going to be dialing into this whenever it works. So I just want you to think about this question and maybe jot it down in a little notebook if you have it. Jot it down and be like, hey, what am I solving for right now? I think this is a really important question to always ask ourselves is, what am I solving for? Because as we go into different seasons of life, actually, as we go into different seasons of the year, which we just shifted into fall, this is an excellent question to ask ourselves and to get really clear. Because if we don't know what we're solving for, what happens is we're just like throwing darts at a wall that does not have a dartboard. And how many of you have ever felt like this when it comes to your health? You're like, I feel like I'm just kind of throwing some darts, right? I want to feel better. I get this a lot from women. I just want to feel better. Well, what does that mean? Do you want to focus in on sleep? I love Julia today is like, I want to regulate blood sugars. That's very specific. And I want to help my hormones, right? She's very specific on what she wants to create. So I want you to just ask yourself, what am I solving for? Now let's look at Let's continue on. Okay, so we're talking about women, you're 30 to 45. What are your priorities in life? Okay, this demographic or you are at the peak of their life with energy and drive for everything, right? Your careers, your health, your growing families, you've got busy social calendars and more. Okay, so you've got a lot going on in your lives. The pitfalls can be you're a little bit stressed, you're starting to come across burnout. And because of all of this on the go, especially if you are, in that stage where maybe you're having a baby every couple of years or maybe even more frequently than that, you are a lot of times having some undetected deficiencies in your body that could later on in life, as you go into that perimenopause, menopause age, those deficiencies can start to catch up with you. Right? Where it starts to catch up, and like where you're at right now in your 30s, especially when you're in your early 30s to like your late 30s, you can kind of just go without really taking care of yourself. But sooner or later that will catch up to you. So does this describe you right now? Does this describe everybody where you're just kind of like on the go, you're in the things, you're doing the things, and you're like, maybe you're stressed because of your hormones. Maybe you're stressed because of whatever. And here's one thing that somebody taught me a couple of years ago. And she said, Katie, I don't think it's necessarily that you have stress or burnout. You're pretty good about taking care of your body physically. but you have so many moving pieces in your life, right? You've got kids, you've got your businesses, because I have several businesses, you've got managing the house, you've got, outside responsibilities that you're constantly all over the place. And your body perceives that as stress, right? So it might not feel that I have stress because of anything that's like weighing me down, but my mind is always going all over the place. And so I might have some stress, which that is very common for this age group and the age group that we're going to talk about tomorrow, the 45 to 55. Okay, so how are we going to support? We know that we need something simple, right? You want something simple. We know that we want something that is going to actually work so that it's going to take care of what we are solving for. And so that's what we're going to dive into the rest. Now there's going to be so many other ways that we can do this if you want sleep, things like this. I'm going to start with the foundations, because one of the things that another thing that a lot of women come to me is they come and they start to tell me, especially when we get to the end of this age group, when we get about 38 to 45, is that women start to come to me and they're like, hey, my hormones are a mess. Okay. And I think I need to go have some extensive hormone testing, which that's nothing that I am not that I'm opposed to. But for the most of us, we need to dial in on foundational health practices, meaning our daily practices, our sleep, our water, our nutrition, and our digestion. And once we have those dialed in, many times actually everything else will balance out, but we feel like our hormones are rockadoodle because number one, it's the buzzword, it's the cool thing to say on the Instagram and the Facebook and all of the ads. It catches our attention. And so then we start to think in our head that our hormones are a mess, right? But then when we actually look at it and we peel back the layers, we're not getting the nutrition we need from the foods we're eating because we're not eating properly, right? Maybe we're like, hey, I'm eating really healthy, but at the same time, we're eating out 5 or 6 times a week. We're eating on the go and a bunch of snacks at the football games. We're, filling up with scooters and Starbucks coffee a couple of times a week. Ooh, that glass of wine every night sure does taste good. And all of those things, that does not lead to nutritional foundations, right? Or we're not sleeping because we're staying up so late trying to get all of the things done. And so we're like, oh, I'm fine on 6 hours of sleep. I'm going to call bull on that. Okay. We think that 6 hours of sleep is fine because our body has been conditioned to quote unquote think that is normal. Normal and common are two different things. Okay. What we think as normal is probably more like it's just common. It's not normal at your age to not poop more than once, okay, let's talk about poop because it's my favorite thing to talk about. But digestion and foundations, we need to be pooping 1 or 2 times a day with ease and full elimination, right? If we're not doing that, there's something off, right? Sleeping 8 hours a night, sleeping 6 hours a night, maybe that's common, but it's not normal for proper sleep, for rest and stress management, and for your body to recharge and repair, right? That's like charging your phone to 50% and grabbing it on the go and hoping it lasts all day long. It would not last all day long. Okay. Maybe it is common that you start to feel like you're not sexy and that you don't want sex with your partner, right? But that is actually not normal. As you age, ladies, that actual libido should naturally rise. Okay. So these are all signs that we might not be having, we start to perceive things as normal, but they're not actually normal. They're just common because we're living in this society that is overwhelmed and we're not slowing down to take care of ourselves. Okay. So I want to teach you today some really simple ways because I don't want to add overwhelm to your life, right? Wellness shouldn't be overwhelming. But I will tell you, I feel like there's a lot of people out in the online space making wellness overwhelming. Okay. And I'm here to tell you it does not have to be overwhelming. I am now 46 years old. Wellness has been part of my life since I was 29 years old. It has been part of, and before that, we're just not going to talk about what that was like. That was like crazy 20s. But wellness has been foundational in my life from since the age of 29. I'm now almost 47. I have gone through this stage of life with the full outward expression, raising 3 kids, growing multi-million dollar businesses, and I haven't been burned out because I've learned how to pause and to take care of myself in a really simple way. We're not going to overcomplicate it. We're going to make it simple. So here's our foundations. This is our brand new product, okay? So I did a class a couple of weeks ago called the truth about hormones. If anybody wants that class, just ask me and I'll send you the link. But I did this class and I was like, hey, I'm going to give you these protocols for your physical health and your emotional health. And then I found out that this was coming out. And so for those of you that were on that call and you're like, where's my protocol? This is your protocol. VMG plus. Okay, so this is going to be foundational wellness. So this is why it is so crucial for women in the age group of 30 to 45. Okay, everybody can take this, but today I'm going to dial in on why it's so important to you. Okay, so first of all, it has vitamin D. Did you guys know that vitamin D actually isn't a vitamin? It's a hormone. So those of you that want to regulate hormones and have happy hormones, vitamin D is crucial. Magnesium is crucial. Vitamin B12 is crucial. All are vital for healthy sleep cycles. Healthy sleep cycles impact hormone health, energy production, mood, emotional stability, and skin because let's not sugarcoat it. We all want some glowing skin too, don't we? Your glowing skin is an outward reflection of what's going on inside of your body, okay? And so all of these things, we don't want to be cranky when we're showing up for a meeting. We don't want to be cranky when we're dealing with our kids. We don't want to be cranky when our spouse comes home or our partner comes home from work. We want to be emotionally stable and charged up and ready to go. Also, it's packed with antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, and digestive enzymes. So again, helping that digestive system work. And here's the cool part. It's easy to take. So there is this little sachet right here. You see it, my little screen? You only have to take one of these a day. So for all of you busy ladies on the go, you mix this with 4 to 5 ounces of water. You drink it with the next product I'm going to talk about, and you are done for the day. Does that seem overwhelming and complicated to remember? You don't have to remember to take multiple pills multiple times a day. You're taking one sachet a day to give your body that fuel you need. So it's also got the greens in there that's going to help with the digestion. It's going to help with those nutritional things so that we're actually filling our nutritional buckets instead of getting those deficiencies that might come to haunt us as we go into our 40s, 50s, and 60s. Okay, we're making sure we're starting on this solid foundation. Also, for you mamas, you can take this, you can mix it, and then you can divide it into however many kids you have and give this to them first thing in the morning. You make it as part of your daily routine, then your kiddos are getting what they need, so they're not getting sick and gross and all the things, and then you're getting your nutritional needs, right? Super easy. Take this, drink it before your coffee, get some hydration in, and you're good to go. Okay, the second piece of our foundational wellness, we're going to add in some omegas because omegas are really, really, really crucial to support our natural hormone levels. It can also help us with that support of that focus and attention because remember, we're busy and we're on the go and our brains are going like all over the place. You're probably like watching this and making dinner and changing a diaper at the same time, or you're watching this and making dinner and trying to multitask at work behind the scenes. I know how it goes. I'm the same way. Pop up a recording of something, be texting in the background, working on my Facebook. My kids are in the background screaming. I get it. Okay. And so what this is the omegas are also really good. There's a controlled trials conducted in 2012 to 2018 that also omega-3 fatty acids may be effective to support healthy menstrual cycles. Americans in particular are deficient in omega-3 fatty acids, unlike any other country, due to our poor dietary standards and highly processed food. Okay. So when we're getting these omegas in, it's also, if you are in childbearing age and you are pregnant, these can these can be foundational for your prenatals. Okay. Because it's methylated folate, it's got the omegas in it. Omegas also will help prepare the cervix to expand without tearing as you are delivering a baby. Okay. And so making sure you are taking omegas, not just for the baby's health in utero, but for your brain health is very crucial. Plus, it's going to help your body have a little bit more elasticity for your skin, but also for that skin in the cervix area so that we're not ripping and tearing during labor and delivery. We want to have smooth, easy labors and deliveries. Okay, so omega. So how do we take this? The recommended, if you're writing this down, and I will be putting a sheet together, promise. You are going to take 3 of these a day. Okay, they're a little bit bigger. Guess what you can also do? You can chew them. Pop them open in your mouth. So if you've got kids, they can pop them open in their mouth. What I like to do is I take 2 of these in the morning when I'm taking my VMG. And then in the evening, I have like a little routine and I take another one. So again, if you're like, hey, I want to make it as simple as possible, take all 3 in the morning. Don't worry about it the rest of the day. Okay. The next product we're going to have is our doTERRA PB Restore. This is going to be our probiotics. We hear a lot about, I mean, everywhere you turn, somebody's talking about probiotics, right? Probiome, microbiome, all of these things. Okay, so our microbiome is basically the environment of our gut, okay? And when our microbiome of our gut is flourishing and happy, it is like a forest where the trees are growing, the birds are singing, the flowers are growing, all of that is like super, super happy in our digestive system. But most of us, the microbiome of our gut is completely off. And again, I love the word wackadoodle. And it's because we have so many of these processed foods. We have all these things. Plus, it's just a natural part of aging that it gets disrupted. So we want to make sure that we are adding this in. It's got pre, pro, and postbiotics, and the most comprehensive on the market. And also, it's estimated that 90% of neurotransmitters are created in the gut, including dopamine, serotonin, and GABA. So what does this actually mean for you? If you are feeling like you're overwhelmed, you're having anxious feelings, you're feeling stressed a lot, the PB Restore is actually going to support our mental health as well as our digestive health. Remember, pooping, gotta poop, ladies. I actually listened to this podcast. I should probably go back and find it and I can share it with you. If you're interested, just let me know. But it was a podcast, and there was a lady, and she was talking. She was a world-renowned doctor in hormones, and she was talking about the first indication of unbalanced hormones that we have a hormonal that we'd like to solve for is to help women poop better, because there are so many of us that think it's common to go. She had these stats on there, and that's why I talk about poop a lot. You thought you were coming to talk about like hormones. Sorry, ladies, it's all interrelated. So the simplest way to support the microbiome is with PB Restore. Okay. So for adults, I don't have it right here. I thought I did. You're just going to take this. Guess what? You can take it with everything else in the morning. Remember, we're not making things complicated. You're going to shake. Wait, this is how it goes. There's a 3-part. Okay. You're going to rip. Okay. Like rip the packet off. You're going to rip. You're going to make this in your thing. You're going to sip it with your supplements, right? With your frankincense or your omega and your probiotic. And then you're going to put some oils on. You're going to drip some oils in your hand. And I'm going to tell you about those in just a minute. And you're going to be set for the day. Doesn't that sound easy? Julia, does this sound easy? Can you do this? Can you remember to do this? And then you're not like, oh my gosh, how many of you have been like, you've been on Lifelong Vitality for so long, if you've been like one of my old school doTERRA people, and you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot my second dose. Yeah, it's real. It's real that we forget, and then we start to become overwhelmed. And I don't want you to become overwhelmed. I want this to be easy. So quick, for all of you that have kiddos in your house, here's easy daily habits for small children. Good would be that you give them the VMG every day. Okay? Better is that you would give them the VMG, you would add in 1 omega per child. Okay, that's what my kids are doing. Best would be that you would give them the VMG, right, for their nutritional needs, their fruits, their vegetables. You would give them the omegas for their brain health, and you would add in a sachet. This is the kids version of the probiotics. Also, pro tip, for women that have more vaginal issues, maybe you get a lot of yeast infections, urinary tract infections, those kinds of things, you've got some bladder issues going on, you would also take this one because there's some strains in here that are really, really good for urogenital health, okay? And honestly, if that was one of your concerns, I would probably take 1 of these sachets a day and I would do a restore, or you could do like every other day, you could do a different one. I did not know that. A midwife taught me that. Okay, so that would be for kids. In our house, we alternate. Like some days we're really good, other days we're best. Last night it was all the best because all 3 boys got aroma touches and symphony of the cells to start out their weeks great, but you never know. But these are some ideas for you for healthy kids. Now, you've got some teenagers. Do you want to add into the mix? This is going to depend on the teenager's age. So adaptive is going to be if you have those moody tweeners. That's what I call them, the moody tweeners. I've got one of those. You could also add in, it depends, like if you have teenage athletes, I add in Mito 2 Max and the Recharge electrolytes for my teenage athletes. That's what their add-in is. Okay. So lots of ideas here. If this is something you want to explore, come and explore it with me. I just want to really keep this focused for the ladies. Now, women, what are our daily habits going to be? Good. We're going to start with that VMG. Okay. We're going to do that VMG, that 1 sachet of greens, vitamins, and minerals every single day. We want to be a little bit better. We're going to add in the omega, right? You get to pick and choose based on what your budget is, based on what you're feeling right now. Best is you would add in, again, that VMG, the omega, and the PB Restore. I also, one of my favorite products right now for women is the adaptive capsules. Because remember, our brains are going all over the place. And sometimes I just need to calm my ass down so I can focus. And the adaptive capsules I find to be very helpful for my health. Okay. So these would be our good, better, and best for women. Start with these foundations. You don't need to add anything else on until you are doing these consistently. Okay. So if you start with the good, maybe a couple months, you can start wherever you want to start, whatever works for you. But I would say don't add any other things on. And if you already have a cupboard full of some stuff that's not doTERRA, let's chat. Because a lot of times people are like, well, but the price of this and this, but then we go through what they already have in their home and they're taking a bunch of stuff that they don't need to be taking. And so we actually can eliminate all of that, and it's actually cheaper to just get all of our stuff from one spot. Okay. So that's what I'm going to say. Now, then we get to personalize. Okay. We get to personalize again. If you're not, I would say to start with this right here. If you feel like you're feeling overwhelmed and anxious feelings and all that a little bit, we can add in some adaptive, or we can look at some of these other things, right? So we have collagen for elasticity, skin firmness. The collagen that doTERRA has, I have found actually these 3 products, if you were part of my Truth Talk on Hormones workshop, these are the 3 products that have made the biggest difference in my hormones. Okay. So if you're starting to get into those areas, I know we've got somebody on live today that the hormones are a big factor. That was a big factor for me as well when I was in my 30s and early 40s, and I'm still taking this. Now I have balanced hormones, but the collagen, because when we talk about blood sugar regulation, hormones, it's all interrelated, right? Hormones are a metabolic function. And so the collagen has our NMN plus in it. It's got our vitamin C. So going into winter, it's going to be really good to keep our immune system boosted. And then the recharge, the electrolytes, they have that magnesium in them. So remember when we talked about magnesium being so beneficial for sleep, for hormonal balance, I actually track my cycle And I've tracked it for a really long time. And when I introduced the recharge, my cycles got even more consistent and more at that 29 to 20 30 day range, like very, very consistently. And the only thing I had changed in my wellness routines was it was when the advantage or the recharge electrolytes came out. Okay, so here's the other thing. If you want to keep it easy, you can mix all of these together if you wanted. Okay, me personally, that's not how I do it. I do the green one in the morning with all my supplements. And I like the mixture of the combo and the recharge is kind of my afternoon cocktail. Okay. You could mix it with sparkling water and it starts to replace your wine. Okay. So I like to kind of give myself a little timeout, a little recharge in the afternoon. Okay. So play with it. You get to play with it. And again, this is your personalization. So let's talk a little bit about, that's not, oh, well, snap. I don't know what happened to my, I had another sheet. So, okay. So let's talk a little bit about also our emotional support, right? Because a lot of times, hey, we're doing all of these things on our nutritional foundations. Then we get to bring oils in that kind of help us with everything else we have going on. And today I want to highlight 2 oils, and you're going to figure out why I want to highlight these 2 oils in just a minute. But the 2 oils that I really like, I'm actually going to stop my share to talk about these oils, is I love Balance oil. Okay. If you haven't tried Balance, this is a great way to start your day. So I actually keep a Balance in my bathroom. So when I'm getting ready in the morning, I can just, get out of the shower. I'm putting my lotion on. I put some Balance on the bottoms of my feet. I put it on me. I also carry this around with me to most places. So that's going to help, again, calm our nervous system, which again is going to help with our hormones and all that good stuff. So Balance is an oil that I like. This is also good for the kiddos, just to kind of keep us in that even kill, chillaxin mode. And then we also have the Adaptive Touch. This is another one of my favorites that I actually carry around. We all have the little purse pack thing, the little, I feel like everybody has it. It's a fanny pack, ladies. It's a fanny pack for all the younger girls. The old ladies know that it's a fanny pack, right, Carmi? It's a fanny pack. You can call it a belt bag, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, this fits real nice in your belt bag. And it is a little thing, and you can just carry this. Also, this is going to be those moms on the go for the kiddos that might just start to have those tantrums. These are going to be really great items for you too. So this is going to be a really great thing, the Adaptive, to just kind of keep your emotions we got a lot going on, and that's okay. We can do it all, right? It doesn't have to be a world where it's we have to have a career or family or this or that. We can do it all, but to do it, we have to support our bodies. We have to support our bodies. So this is a great way to begin to support your bodies. Okay. All right. So I am going to just do a quick overview for everybody on how to order. Okay. Number 1, if you are already a customer, okay, you're already part of doTERRA, you already have some doTERRA in your home, you can scan that little QR code right there, and it will take you to a cart that already has all of these items in your cart. Okay. Then you can pick and choose and decide which ones you want to keep, which ones you want to let go of, whatever. You just click on that, you hop into your cart, you go a little shopping happy. If you have questions, you respond to the email I sent you, or, you find me or the person that invited you to this, and we will help you customize. So if you've already got some other things in your home, we want to help you customize. We will help you customize, but that's for our current customers. If you are a brand new customer watching this, meaning that you don't have doTERRA in your home, or you had doTERRA in your home at one time and it's been a really long time since you ordered, you are going to reach out to me or the person that invited you. We have special gifts this month. Okay. And so when you reach out to us, that Balance and the Adaptive that I talked about, you can get those absolutely free, plus some other things. Okay. And if you haven't logged into your account for a while, we might need to help you. We're going to work with you. We're going to help you re-engage and get your stuff all set up to go. Okay. So the number one takeaway I want you to make today is this: two things. Wellness does not have to be complicated. Okay. Let's commit right now to shift our focus to our healthy foundations and to not get overwhelmed and stressed out about our wellness. Reach out to us. So number two, reach out to the person that invited you to this call, or reach back out to me. We will help you. If you're still kind of feeling a little overwhelmed, we will help you put your exact plan together based on what you specifically are solving for right now in this moment of time. Okay. And my last thing to remind you of today is wellness is a journey. It's not a destination. Okay. So just remember to always be gentle on yourself. Trust the process. Trust exactly where you are now. You have solutions and you are fully supported in our community to learn, to grow, and to elevate your wellness. So with that, I am going to sign off. If you are on live, you can stay on live and we will have a little Q&A wrap session. But otherwise, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm looking forward to the next episode of this, which is going to be women 45 to 55 years old. We're going to talk a little bit about perimenopause and menopause.